216-578-1007. Want to join us? Or 800-348-1007. Our friend comedian Mike Paramore is going to join us about a half an hour. He's an alum of the Alan Cox Show comedy tour. He's doing a show at the Funny Bone Toledo tomorrow night. So if you are one of our listeners out Toledo way, take note of that. I think he's doing one of those like relationship comedy things or something.
Oh, yeah?
He'll tell us about it when he's here, I assume. What am I going to do,
You don't know
right?
what he's going to talk
Yeah,
about.
come on, man. I mean, you know. The 10th anniversary of the Alan Cox Show here in Cleveland. We will be celebrating that with a live broadcast on Monday, December the 16th. I have already heard from many, many people who told me they're going to take that day off from work.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. To the day, it'll be the 10th anniversary of my tenure here at WMMS. Monday, December 16th, we're going to do the show at Slim and Chubby's in Strongsville. Right on Prospect. The show will start promptly at 2 o'clock. We'll have guests. We'll have prizes. We'll have fun. We're going to have some things. A lot of things, right? All of it brought to you by Bud Light.
You can do your dance to that song that you were talking about earlier?
No.
What song was that?
When I said I would strip to... What song was on right before we came in? It was a traditional stripper song.
You shook me all night long.
Yes, I said I would strip to this song. And then Bill suggested I do that at the 10th annual...
10th anniversary.
10th anniversary show. Struggling today, man.
Hey, listen, you've already started last segment.
Right.
With it. You're dipping your toe in the water.
You never know what might pop.
Yeah.
So you better just come down to the live show and hang out with
That's
us.
true.
Which is now available to watch at AlanCoxShow.com.
Available to watch. There you go. Why not? So you can use the promo code. Well, not promo code. I mean, God, I'm with you. I can't.
We're all there.
I know.
We're all there.
I'm fine.
You are fine. I know, but I'm like I don't know what's going on. Well, I know precisely what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying. My kid, you know, anytime she's sick, she's back in our bed. Mm-hmm. And she and Gwen both got sick over Thanksgiving. It's a long trip to my parents, and it's like the air's different. Though I don't know what's going on.
Well, also just
and so now I'm not sleeping very well because I try to, I can't have my voice go, and she's back in the bed and she's kicking me all night and the whole thing, man. So
soupy. I'm the opposite. I've been sleeping like 16 hours. Like, I've been awake for this show pretty much this week, and that's it. I go home, I've laid on my couch, I've been in and out of sleep, take NyQuil, knock me out for 10 or 12 hours, and I'm just like, I think that's why I feel
because you're under the weather, or or is that time of year? I mean, when it starts getting... I used to think that when people... I
haven't been feeling well the last couple days. It's been like, my nose has been stuffy and runny, my throat's a little sore, and it's just...
I mean, there's absolutely something going around, but
right.
Usually I can kind of, dodge between the raindrops and that stuff.
Fight it.
Yeah. But also this time of year, I used to kind of chuckle when people would talk about seasonal affect disorder.
It's real.
Oh, it's very real.
It is, man. It's legit. Like when it starts to get dark at 4 in the afternoon, you understand.
It was even worse than when I was in Minneapolis because they're an hour back. So it would literally be like 4:15 and the sun was setting. I was like, what is going on, man?
My sister told me that Illinois is getting rid of daylight saving time.
I bet.
Yeah.
They should. It's terrible. We don't need it anymore. Just don't need it. We should get rid of it in Ohio, too.
Well, but it hung around for so long. We've heard from farmers. They go, yeah, it was supposed to be for farmers, but we don't care. It's, 2019. But I assume that it held on so long because there had to be some kind of lobby for it.
Right.
And I didn't know who would have been behind that.
Who's making money off of it?
Well, that's the
right?
question. I assumed that maybe there still was a contingent of farmers, but I'm like, I'm not a farmer. I don't know how much work you can get done in an hour. And I know that a lot of farming is done by big ag these days. It's not a guy with a pitchfork on his farm anymore. But I don't know. So these are the rousing conversations I have with my siblings when I get home. Daylight saving time. Because it's central time already. So when I go see my parents, I'm an hour behind anyway. Right. And then we started talking about that and whatever. But yeah, man, for people who, like you're not drinking, you're not going out a lot, And I listen, I'm a night owl. If I had my druthers, I'd still be up till 3 a.m. every day, but it's just not feasible. It doesn't make me productive. But I love nighttime. So you'd think I'd love it when it got dark at 4 in the afternoon. But it just throws everybody off.
Yeah.
Anyway, So the 10th annual versary live show.
The annual versary.
Is going to be on December the 16th down at Slim and Chubby's. It is weird to think, too, that there are 27 days left in a decade.
That is
This
weird.
decade
We're coming
is
to the end
coming
of
to
a
an
decade.
end. Another
yeah.
decade. Very weird.
Yeah.
Onto
I don't
the
know what
20s.
that means.
Into the teens and into the 20s.
Into the
That sounds-
20s.
yeah,
I'm into
don't
my
isolate
30s.
What did you say?
Don't isolate that one.
Said done with the teens, onto the 20s or something like that.
Yeah. 257.
Yeah,
I'll write that one down.
Yeah.
Bill Teens. There you go.
Mary's wardrobe malfunction is now live at Alan Cox.
Wardrobe, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
But was it a wardrobe malfunction?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
that's
it?
not supposed to happen.
Somebody put you on brazzers, like you lay.
I know. Bill has a 65-inch TV, and when I went over there, I was eyeballing the box, and I was like, I think that box is the same size as me. And I laid down next to it, and I thought you were taking a picture, so I looked at him like I had my mouth open, and someone was like, "Mary taking a 65-incher."
Oh God! Come on, come on!
I was showing that the television was as long.
I
as
retweeted
was.
this.
Bill Squire.
I retweeted this viral video today of Andrew Yang. You know who Andrew Yang
Yes.
is?
Yang
Okay.
Gang.
Yang
Yang
Gang.
Gang.
Well, I hashtagged it Yang Gang Bang because this guy, boy, he's trying to position himself as like the hip tech candidate. You know, robots are going to take your jobs. I'm going to give you money every month. Well, apparently there's a video going around of him opening a campaign office somewhere, and for some reason he's got people get on their knees and he's spraying whipped cream into their mouths.
Like their
Oh,
children.
that's weird.
And I'm like, how can a guy who's supposed to be the hip tech dude not know how immediately things get memed?
Yeah.
Immediately. And memes, like it or not, that's what drives people's opinions now, politically and it's going to be the meme election, right? Kamala Harris dropped out, and a lot of people couldn't believe it, and they think that in large part there was a Kamala is a cop meme that went around because she was a prosecutor in San Francisco and was pretty tough, I guess. And even though she's a black woman, you know, I think she was prosecuting a lot of people of color in a way that other people thought was unfair. I don't know the particulars of it, but the meme got distilled into Kamala's a cop, which to a lot of people means, you know, she's out there figuring she's going to get some of the black vote.
Yeah.
And she dropped out. She dropped out before Marianne Williamson dropped out. That crazy cuckoo voodoo lady that's still out there. She's not in any of the debates. So when you don't see the people in the debates, if you're paying attention, I know a lot of people aren't, but if you don't see the people in the debates, you forget that they're running for president. But there are still people who are not getting coverage who are still running. And you're like, why?
Right.
Why
Who is
would you
this
do that?
person?
You can't be getting that many campaign contributions that's keeping the thing running. But yeah, I don't know why people got on their knees so that he could spray whipped cream into
I
their
didn't
mouths.
even think of it as a sexual thing because my nieces and nephews like that. Like that's something my dad does with them. They'll they want to come over and like that's a treat. Like eating whipped cream. We get to do that at Papa's house. They eat whipped cream right out of the canister.
Eating whipped cream is a treat.
Like, well, you're not going to do that at home with your own kid. You're not going to feed them whipped cream right out of the canister, and then got to deal with their hyper and
you're
run around.
You're gonna do the whippets, and then you're gonna give them the whipped cream.
Right.
Is the way that you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. It's just it's a very strange thing to do to another adult human being. I feel like.
Speaking of which, I've got Kids Corner from.
It ain't easy being a kid. Now look at what you gone done did. Whoa, it's time for Kids Corner. Kids Corner.
I'll tell you what, as many strides as have been made against the HIV around the world, they are still. What?
Now I know this story. Go ahead.
What's the story?
Is it Cleveland getting rid of HIV and AIDS and HIV protection?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I don't know the story. I was already judging.
Solid guess. It was in Kids Corner.
It doesn't matter. Kids get HIV.
There's your uplifting thought of the day.
Kids get HIV. Anyway.
I'll just continue telling my story.
Thanks.
Overseas, they're trying to make sure that HIV in children is minimized as much as they can. But it's real hard to get kids to take medicine when it doesn't taste good, right? You see that with your own little kids. That's why they make antibiotics and bubble gum and grape.
Maybe that's what Andrew Yang was putting in the whippets. It's actually medicine.
Hey, guys, why were they on their knees?
That's the only way.
Still the question. There's something called
He's a short guy, maybe?
There's something called Quadrimune, and it's very, very effective against HIV. It's relatively affordable. But there are a lot of kids, it's real hard to get them to take it because you can't explain to a kid, hey, this will keep you alive.
Right.
There are 80,000 babies and toddlers who die of AIDS every year, and they're mostly overseas. And so there's a company that has introduced a new strawberry-flavored HIV medicine.
Ooh.
So they can give it to the kids. I would think that you would be able to easily talk to a child overseas who might have seen their family decimated by HIV.
I think when you're talking about this kind of situation, this is for like 2- and 3-year-olds that don't understand at all.
But wouldn't you be able to say, I don't want what happened to Uncle
They don't
Pepe
care.
to happen to you? They don't care?
No, because they're
Wow.
children. They don't understand.
They understand somebody
It's
dying. A
yeah,
3-year-old
but-
understands death, is what I'm saying.
I don't think it, not in that way. And not in the way where, especially like a 2-year-old. Maybe a 3-year-old, but a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old, nah.
Oh, not a 1-year-old.
And
but-
even like, I remember
Even a 3-year-old.
my
Trying to
kid, I
explain
remember
children.
my daughter, when she was 8 years old, would throw a fit trying to take medicine
Yeah.
because she didn't like the taste.
Yeah. Hey, this is going to make you feel better. You're right. They don't care. Right?
Well, I always
Because it's about the immediacy of it, and they don't feel better immediately,
But they taste-
they
it tastes nasty,
immediately. So
right?
they're like, ugh, I hate this.
Yeah, my kid's kind of creeping me out on some level, too, because we were just kind of snuggling the other night, and she goes, you know what I know you wouldn't like? And I said, what? And she goes, if I died.
Whoa.
I was like,
She nailed it.
No. I go, you're 110% correct, but where the hell did that come from? So they're hoping that the strawberry-flavored HIV meds will really help these kids. I hope they market it properly, to get to kids. You got to market it somehow.
Yeah.
For the, you're trading strawberry for AIDS. You don't want your body covered in sores. You're trading something like that. Along those lines. It's catchy. They get it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think kids would respond quite well to that.
You think they would?
They're like, well, I mean, I think you need really probably the Kids Bop kids to do a version of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you express the concept of death to a child?
I don't know.
If you don't eat your vegetables, I'm gonna
No,
kill
but like,
you.
how does Nora know about like death? Like, how does she know everything dies? Like, how did you tell her?
Well, I'll tell you what, kids' programs today are a lot more savvy about some of those things than they were when I was a kid. So there are all kinds of things that and kids have a much broader array of shows too. We had Sesame Street, we had The Electric Company, we had a couple of cartoons. Now a kid will never get bored because there's new crap all the time streaming. So a lot of these shows, if they delve into that, but to her, trying to think if she was 6 months old when my grandmother died, so she
She
didn't
doesn't
know her
remember
at
that,
all.
yeah.
No, but I'm trying to think if she has seen death yet. She understands the concept. I don't know how you explain it to
I
a
don't
kid.
know how
You just
you explain
say,
either.
and for a lot of people, they couch it in if they're religious at all. They go, "Grandma goes to heaven," or whatever.
Well, isn't that a big part of getting a kid a pet? Is
Well,
being able to
watching
to
it die, yeah.
Well, no, explain
Get
to them.
ready.
Explain to them that this is a part of it because
If you
pets
don't do a
die
good
obviously
job of
before
taking care of this pet,
people
you will
do.
kill it.
When we flushed her first fish, that was kind of when that conversation started.
Right.
And I thought she was going to be kind of pragmatic about it.
I can't remember a time when I didn't know what death was. Like, I feel like that's always been something. And I think that is a part of the religious thing, too.
Yeah.
Is you're talking about the afterlife a lot.
Constantly.
Right.
So
Sure.
you're just like, okay, so there's, I'm not here forever, but they're pitching you this afterlife that's supposed to be great. And you're like, well, why are we here? Why don't we just kill ourselves and get there? That sounds great.
Right.
See, I was like,
Yeah, religion's all a death cult anyway. Like,
Right.
you can't wait to die because look at all the great stuff that's going to happen.
I think I was like 6 or 7 when my grandmother died, and I thought it was just, I didn't get the concept of cancer. I didn't get anything like that. I thought death was just for like older people. Like, I think that's how my mom kind of taught me. Like, oh, you're not going to have to worry about this for years and years and years, meaning 35. But, I mean, I thought it was just for like elderly people
One of
when
my
I was a kid.
This is kind of morbid, but one of my earlier memories is of my grandpa getting taken out on a stretcher from my grandparents' house and him saying goodbye to me. Like, bye, Mary Lynn. I remember him saying that, like being taken
Oh, he
away.
was lucid and awake and the whole thing?
Yeah, he wasn't. He had the mask on and everything, but he died shortly after, and I was maybe like 4.
He knew he
4
was going
or
to die.
5. He was old and he had a lot of things going on, but they like 911 came. The ambulance came and like wheeled him out, and I remember seeing him go and like realizing like this might be the last time
I'm not
that
gonna
I
see him again.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I don't think I realized
and
that.
I was young, probably 4.
Because I would
4
sit,
or 5.
I would sit in the hospital bed and eat my grandmother's cereal, like when she was going through. I think it was.
This is a special cereal your grandma needs to nourish her body. He's like, yeah, I get grandma cereal.
I told you I was like 6, but I was sitting in the bed with her, and I didn't know it was a hospital bed. It wasn't her apartment, but like I didn't know that she was going to die. I don't think I
Yeah.
comprehended that.
Who
Like,
ate all of Nana's anti-cancer cereal?
It's like Special K. Those are the strawberries, the little
Special
dried.
C. Yeah. No, my grandfather, my maternal grandfather died when I was 8. But my mom was 29, and I didn't realize until I was older how young that is to lose a parent.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to my sister over Thanksgiving, and I go, God, Dad was the same age I was. Like, my dad was the same age when my sister was born that I am when Nora was born.
Yeah.
And it freaks me out. Like, I can't stop thinking about that because I'm going to have more time with my older kids, obviously, or will have had more time with them. And my sister's like, yeah, it sucks. Because my sister will be 31 and my dad will be 75.
Yeah.
You know? And so my mom's dad was a lot older than her. You know? He had her when he was in his 40s.
So super sperm runs in like.
Oh,
gene
yeah.
pool.
It does. Yep. It's a lot of older dudes and younger wives in my family. Oh, yeah. My grandmother was 13 years younger than my grandpa, and it was his second wife, and he didn't have kids with his first wife.
I'm sure there's probably like incest somewhere in my family because I'm pretty sure.
I like how you jump right to that.
Right.
But I'm just saying because my grandmother, her first husband, or I think her only husband, but I think she divorced him, or they just like got a hood divorce where they just never talked to each other again and were
Just
still married.
stopped communicating.
But he was a twin, and her sister married twins. So
Oh, that's
yeah, her and her
interesting.
sister married twins, and then they had kids, and so somewhere down the line, I don't know how. It happened.
We're all descendants of Adam and Eve, Poundcake, so we all come from incest. Thank you very much.
What about Daisy and Steve?
They had 2 boys. You figure it out. Daisy and Steve?
My grandmother's name was Daisy.
Oh.
I don't
Who
know.
was Steve?
That's just the name I give her dude. I have no idea what his name is. I have no.
You didn't know his name?
I never met him. I never met my
Oh, I see.
grandfather.
You just
like that.
you're like, from all the stories you've told me,
Sounds like
he
a
sounds
Steve.
like a Steve. Not a Steven.
He just went along.
Sounds like a Steve.
Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
John and Steve.
Also, the new hot toy jumping off shelves this year for the kids is a fart launcher.
Ooh,
It's a gun-like device that emits a rotten stench up to
Ew.
10 feet away.
that's amazing.
Introducing the Fart Launcher 3000. Wreak havoc by launching real fart smells. Load the canister, pull back, and let her rip. Oh, this can really clear a room. New from Wowie.
Yeah, they're called butt heads. Their heads are butts. I like that. They've just, after years of trying to pretend that kids cannot be distilled into just poop humor, they've doubled down.
yeah.
There's a game where you shoot a turd out of a toilet, and they've got the dog thing that poops. Now they've got the fart launcher. Everything's poops and butts and everything.
their heads are butts.
So check out that fart launcher when Santa's
It sounds like an
running.
SNL sketch.
It does.
It does.
It's called the Butthead's Fart Launcher 3000. It's basically a Nerf gun that shoots, sulfur gas out of it or whatever.
Maybe that's what they need to do. They need to combine poop toys with the AIDS strawberries. And then that way they can come together and the kids will get it.
They'd be like, yeah, once you take this medicine, your farts are going to be able to, you're going to launch them across the room. Everyone's going to
Yes,
smell
but
them.
this is the only way.
Oh, this is... You're going to get so much distance on your farts. It is amazing. You're going to love it. All right, I got those Vince Neil tickets for you when we get back from the break. He's doing a solo date out at the MGM Northfield Park in January, doing all the crew hits. And our friend Mike Paramore is going to join us shortly. He's doing a show at the Funny Bone in Toledo tomorrow night if you are out that way. Want to text for anything, 35192, or find us at alancoxshow.com.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS and everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.